Welcome to the Life of Hair. My name's James Atkinson, and in this episode we are going to look at an absolute beauty of a Salon creative bob look. It is so versatile, so usable. It's a great technique for those clients that have got finer, straighter hair textures and want a really interesting technique that gives them lots of volume and lots of texture. It's a bit of a long video, but there was no way I could make it any shorter. There was so much content in this haircut that I needed to show you. Let's start. Thin section to create a pre-section that sits on the highest point of the ridge that follows around the head shape, the parietal ridge. First section is vertical. And then we are over directing every section to the previous. So that means we're not pulling everything back square. We're still traveling around the head shape, but every section that we cut goes back to the one before it, as you just saw there. This is vitally important for this shape because this builds up some graduation in the shape through over direction, but keeps the haircut quite snug to the head shape, utilizing the occipital bone to create lovely head hugging shape. So we first cut 3 sections on that left hand side, and we will do exactly the same on this right hand side, making sure that we are over directing each section to the previous section that we cut. Clean vertical sections make the job much easier. And just remembering to over direct. So in the sections that I have in my hand now, they're going back to the previous section. This builds up the length behind the ears. We're going to work these sections all the way to where the hair goes up behind the ear. That's the corner of the outline of their hairline. You can just see it there, that vertical line that travels down the head perfect, straight down. Now onto the front sections. Using a diagonal section, we're going to elevate our section straight up, and we will see a guide from our previous shorter sections at the back, and we are going to cut a 45-degree angle or steeper dependent on the texture of your client's hair up towards the ceiling. And every section is over directed back to level with that last section on the back, level with the back of the ear more or less. Now on this right side, if you're a right hander, it's slightly difficult because you have to work over their head. So come round to section, pick up the sections, and then come back round their head to make sure that you've got that nice finger angle cutting up towards the ceiling. All this over direction and elevation will retain all the length as you travel towards the front of the head. Really focusing on over directing that hair all the way back to behind the ear, in line with that last section underneath. That is the underneath sections all cut. Time to dry. So once we've dried it, we're going to use the mini trimmers to refine our outlines and make sure that we have got lovely clean silhouette, and the angle drops down in a gentle curve towards the front hairline. Refining your outlines is so important. Now we're going to texturize the internal shape. We're using the channel cutting technique that some of you may have seen from my previous videos. This creates a little bit of texture but also slims the shape down. Onto the top, center profile section from the highest point of the head straight down towards the back of the ear, and repeat on the other side. Comb the section forward and then take a center section pick the hair straight out from the head. We're following the head shape. Use your comb as a guide and double check your final length before you cut. Measure twice, cut once. Once you've cut that section, split it down the middle, and now we're going to work either side. We've got a clear guide in the center from our first section, and we're going to over direct each subsequent section into the middle. This is a classic forward graduation technique. If you'd like to see more forward graduation, if you'd like to see other forward graduation videos, I have one on my channel. Head over there and check out the tutorial for cutting the shag, a long graduated haircut. Everything travelling back into that center section to build up the length, travelling towards the client's ear. If we comb this section down now, we can clearly see that we've got a nice long fringe shape and it travels into that length seamlessly. Same again on the opposite side, over directing everything to the middle, elevating the hair at 45 degrees or straight out from the head shape. Onto the back section, make a center parting, and some of the previous sections that you just cut, comb them into the back section. This will give you a clear guide for working through the rest of the haircut. Brush the forward sections neatly out of the way so they don't get involved with the rest of the haircut. Take a center profile section once again of about 1.5 centimeters, and make sure that you've got some of that front haircut as a guide. We're going to be cutting this section around the head shape. So first of all it will be square, and then we will travel with the section around the crown area. Split that section into two so you've got two clear guides for the rest of your haircut. And exactly as you did in the front sections, we'll be over directing the hair into the middle so that we have got longer hair towards the edges. Over direction again is absolutely critical, and cutting a line that travels round the head shape is paramount. Now we've dried it off, we're going to use some deep point cutting techniques to really refine the shape, working our way around the head in the same way that we cut the sections. Is that we're starting in the back, but the sections we pulled out from the head in exactly the same way that we cut them wet. Refining a technique for me is the most important part of any haircut. It separates you from your colleagues, and it separates you from the person that works in the salon down the road. How you refine a haircut can make or break it, so don't ever leave yourself with no time for refining. Get your basic shape in wet, nice and quickly, and then leave yourself that time to create something truly bespoke and custom for your client's needs. It's at this point where you can really stand out. Just going to take a little bit of a side fringe here, so a diagonal section, working some of that corner off so it sits nicely. Then we have a nice soft side fringe. Shape out some of the front and we are done. A beautiful salon friendly bob shape with soft graduated feel, nice layers, and this will give your client some beautiful volume when it comes to styling. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Life of Hair. If you have, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you again next week for another episode.